I always thought the government controlled what we seen on TV and the news, and whilst I do think it's still true, it seems as though some news hosts can't hide their anger at this Labour government. In today's video, we have a fed-up news host bring down the hammer of Keir Starmer in a scathing rant live. We will discuss this in detail in today's video, whilst also going over all the latest news from up and down the country. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and join our fast-growing community. Adam Brooks launched a blistering rant on GB News after it was revealed Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has received substantially more freebies than any other MP since becoming Labour leader. Starmer received 2.5 times more gifts and hospitality than the next MP, according to Sky News. Speaking to Patrick Christie's, Brooks was left seething after it was said that since December 2019, Starmer received £107,145 in gifts, benefits and hospitality. At the weekend, I took a microphone and a camera to a high street and spoke to pensioners, he said. Some voted for Labour, some didn't, but the anger out there is so high. They cannot believe what this government is doing. The optics are terrible. They are living the high life. Keir Starmer has had more freebies than any other MP over the last 5 years. After what he said in interview and in Parliament, this is the biggest hypocrite in politics. It's such a bad look, and they are so out of touch with the normal people in this country. I would have thought that they would have given it a year before acting like this, but it's after weeks. They have got no shame. Following this, Michelle fumed. I would simply ask Keir Starmer this. If you're watching, have you got no self-respect? Have you got no dignity? What kind of grown-up individual, a professional one, needs another person to pay for their spectacles? Needs another person to buy their wife's clothes? Take away every other aspect of everything. Where's your self-respect? Have a word with yourself. It's appalling. This is a man in his early 60s who's been earning 6 figures for a pretty long time. If you were earning £200,000 a year a decade ago, I struggle to understand why you need somebody else spending £2,485 on your glasses. He's a knight of the realm, and he's taking what you say freebies to go watch the football and to watch Taylor Swift. I think in a way it doesn't just make him look silly and ridiculous. I genuinely think it's now getting to the point where it diminishes his office. It makes the Prime Minister, which is meant to be the highest elected office in this land, look almost ridiculous and cheap. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. A killer from Uganda, who murdered a man in the back of an ambulance, will not be deported after a judge said it would be a breach of human rights. The murderer, named only as ZM after being granted anonymity, chased his victim Eugene Browner into an ambulance along with his North London gang. The gang attacked Browner with baseball bats and golf clubs and clubbed him to death. ZM, who was 18 at the time of the murder and is now 37, was jailed for life in 2006. A judge ruled that he should serve a minimum term of 16 years in prison. Efforts by the Home Office to have him deported on his release form were blocked by a first-tier immigration judge. ZM's lawyers argued that it would be inhumane to deport him back to Uganda, as there are no facilities to treat his mental health conditions. The killer had a psychiatric disorder which caused him to suffer a pervasive distrust and suspiciousness, the court heard. The court was told the disorder made him preoccupied with grievances and grudges against those he believed had harmed him. According to lawyers, his deportation would be a traumatic event. The court accepted that there would be a serious, rapid and irreversible decline in his mental health if he were to be deported. It was ruled that this would be a breach of his Article 3 rights under the European Convention on Human Rights, ECHR, which protects individuals against inhumane and degrading treatment or torture. Christopher John Hanson, the senior immigration judge, said, "I find that if was removed to Uganda, there would be serious, rapid and irreversible decline in their state of health, resulting in intense suffering or significant reduction in life expectancy." All of those factors lead me to conclude that there is a real risk of ill treatment, capable of breaching ZM's Article 3 rights, in the context of reception procedures in Uganda. The Refugee Council expects appeals to surge, with many challenging their deportation on human rights grounds. In other news, a tornado has been described as terrifying as it swept through Aldershot, causing damage to properties and felling trees. No one was hurt in the weather event in the Hampshire town, which happened at 12 p.m. on Friday, according to the local council. The Tornado and Storm Research Organisation, Toro, said that it had tracked the length of the movement of the tornado to be 2 kilometres long. The organisation's investigator posted on Twitter that they had given the tornado a preliminary T1 or T2 rating, which would rate it as a light or mild tornado. Local resident Louise Lepoidevin said, "I was coming back and it was really, really cloudy, and as we got home the thunder started and the rain started. It was really torrential rain. The trees in the back garden were bent over, and it was freaking us out. Everything was lifted off the ground. The leaves were in a big spiral going round. I thought the doors and windows would come in. The noise was terrifying. Then a gazebo came flying over onto next door's fence. Then as soon as it started, 30, 40, 50 seconds later, it had gone." Lepoidevin, who runs a grounds maintenance business, added, "I thought it was a tornado because of the spiral. I have never seen anything like it, and I am quite a weather watcher. Thankfully no one was hurt, I do not know how, because it was at 12 o'clock midday." A Hampshire and Isle of Wight Fire and Rescue Service spokesman said, "Firefighters were part of a joint response at an incident in Aldershot yesterday, after a number of properties and trees were damaged in strong winds. Crews from Rushmore and Surrey FRS were first called shortly after midday and worked closely with partner agencies to make the scene safe." In a statement, Rushmore Borough Council said, "There was a weather event in Cadnam Close, Aldershot, which caused damage to 2 blocks of flats and brought down several trees. Luckily, no one was injured. Damage to property has also been reported nearby in Lower Farnham Road, Osprey Gardens, Basing Drive, Andover Way, Ailing Lane, Sandown Crescent, and Boxall's Lane. We are now working closely with all of our partner agencies to make the scene safe." Meanwhile, in Tewkesbury, Gloucestershire, Rich Martin witnessed the moment a tornado swept through the area at roughly 4:24 p.m. on Friday, alongside his 6-year-old daughter Grace, and videoed it. The 38-year-old builder said, "It was a spectacle in real time. It lasted around 20 seconds. The winds got up very dramatically, felt like a scene from Twister. Right place, right time." He added his daughter was flabbergasted by the sight. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.